Over the past 4 to 5 years, I've put in a total of over 5,000 hours trading Forex and studying every single crack and crevice there is of Forex. So today I'm going to be giving away the knowledge and gems that I have learned over the past 5 years. And I'm going to share with you some of the top things that have helped me become profitable and some of the things that haven't helped me be profitable and actually helped to lose me money. And I'm going to share some of the hidden knowledge that a lot of beginner and intermediate traders actually have a hard time finding because it's not really out there and it's something you have to learn with time. So let's get straight into the video. So one of the first things that actually beginner and intermediate traders don't really know about is one of the things that can actually hold you back from becoming profitable. But before we get to that, there are some important facts to cover first. And the first fact is that Forex is not easy at all. Learning Forex is actually one of the hardest journeys that you'll encounter. But then once you learn it, it's also the most flexible job in the world. However, if you're not able to dedicate hours upon hours and sleepless nights and trial and error over and over and over again, then I'm afraid you're gonna have to pack your bags and find somewhere else to go. Now, if you're willing to stay till the end of the video because I'm gonna be dropping some hidden knowledge. So starting with the first bit of hidden knowledge, brokers are not your friend. They are not your friend whatsoever, but what they are is coworkers. Brokers work with you. They're a company themselves and they're obviously trying to make as much money as they can as well. So it's important to find a broker that's going to be a good coworker for you. You know, it's like any other job. You don't want to work with a coworker who's going to be terrible and who's going to drain you and not, obviously lift you up. So you want to be with a coworker that's going to help and actually add to your working experience. So one of the first bits of hidden knowledge, and not a lot of people talk about, but actually finding a good broker is a very good first step and really important to the trading process, because you're going to be in this work environment. You want a broker that's going to actually be better for you. That way there's more money in your pocket and less money lost. Not only that, if you don't have a good broker who's giving you good market execution and things like that, you're going to be getting into trades late. You're not going to be entering where you want to. So it's just going to make the working process a whole lot harder and the learning process a whole lot harder. So finding a good broker is very important. And I've been with a couple good brokers over the past couple years, including Hanko Trade. Now there's one particular broker who's been coming up recently and they're under the radar and they offer a lot of great features. One of those features being that you can trade them on MT4, and a lot of people are looking for that recently. So if you're interested in signing up with a good broker, I will have a link in the description for that. So the second piece of knowledge that a lot of people don't talk about, or that I haven't seen much of, is actually a hidden pattern that not a lot of people talk about, but is so consistent and adds to a lot of strategies and to just your Forex knowledge in general. It's a pattern that has helped me a lot, and it was one of my first keystones that helped me on the path towards profitability. So let's jump into the charts and I'm going to show you this pattern that's really simple but very effective. So this pattern is very simple and very consistent, and it's something that's actually going to help you have an understanding of how the market moves. So it's as simple as this. Whenever there are downtrends or uptrends in the market, wherever you have a break of one of these downtrends or uptrends, price typically likes to come back to those areas, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So for example, we have a downtrend here. Wherever price breaks out of the trend, for example, price broke out in this area here, price likes to come back and tap into these areas. And this happens over and over again on every time frame, every pair. Go ahead and test it. You'll see for yourself. So for example, we had a nice little downtrend here. Price broke out around this area. And as we see, price likes to come back and tap into these areas. And this happens over and over and over again. As we see here, we have this little uptrend that went on. Price broke out of the uptrend here. As you can see, price came and tapped back into that area, and then it comes back and taps into it again and almost taps into it here. So price likes to interact with these zones, and it happens on every time frame, every pair. Right now we're on the 1 hour, but I'll just quickly jump to the 1 minute and show you how it works here too. You'll see this happen over and over and over again. Kind of jump to a smaller time from here, get a better look. I mean, straight away, what we can do, make an uptrend, something like this. Price broke out here. As you can see, price comes, taps into it, taps into it, taps into it here. Let's do a downtrend, just roughly kind of estimate something like that. Price broke out here. As you can see later on, price comes back and taps into it almost 4 times here. 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 5 times. So go ahead and just look at the charts, bring this pattern on the charts, play around with it, you know, for yourself. There's nothing to lose by studying this pattern. Go ahead and check it out. It's something that I don't see a lot of people talk about, but it's something that happens a lot. You can actually maintain profitability just off this one pattern alone, as long as you have some of the other, you know, fundamentals to trading that you'll need. This pattern is something that I would consider some hidden knowledge. It's something that I learned kind of earlier on just from studying the charts, and it's something that has helped me a lot. So hopefully you'll enjoy that pattern. Now, I have other videos covering exactly how to use this pattern to make profit, and you can go back and watch some of my recent videos and you'll see it. But let's jump into the second or next piece of hidden knowledge. So this next piece of hidden knowledge is something that a lot of people don't really understand, and it's kind of hard to understand until you've really been through it. Basically, it goes like this: your strategy is only as profitable as your patience. So what do I mean by this? Well, you can have the most profitable strategy in the world, but it will only be as profitable as you're willing to be patient. If you can't consistently wait for setups and be patient and wait for the exact setups of your profitable strategy, you will never make money trading Forex. Your patience actually acts as a cap to how profitable you can become, because in every aspect of trading Forex, your patience will always be there to keep you in line and keep you in check. And if you don't tune into your patience ability and keep it where it needs to be, you will never be more profitable than your patience. And this is because there's many areas where you can mess up due to patience. First of all, following your setups and looking for the exact strategies and setups that you know work have to be patient. And sometimes you can go days without seeing a nice setup that you're willing to take. Now, this is extremely difficult for beginners and intermediates, because in the beginning, all you want to do is trade. You constantly want to be getting in and out of trades, trying new strategies. So I know it's a little bit difficult for beginners and intermediates, but keep this knowledge in the back of your head and it's going to help you someday as a trader. So something you can actually do if you want to practice this is take a month to just have one goal. Your goal isn't profitability, it isn't money, it isn't finding a good strategy. It's strictly taking any strategy and sticking to that only. If you can maintain that for an entire month, I guarantee you, if you actually stick to being patient, you will be way more profitable, or at least closer to break even, than any other month you're going to have trading 1,000 different strategies and doing what you're probably doing right now. Now, you can either take the next month to apply this, or you can go ahead and do what you're normally doing and it will catch up to you eventually. And then you'll ask yourself, and I really should have took that month to practice this. Now, for those who are willing to practice this, go ahead and take a month or even just a couple weeks to apply this. Don't have a profit goal in mind, just have one goal of being patient and following a strict setup for a strategy. Don't trade anything else. You know, really tune in to your patience, and I guarantee it'll make a big difference. So before we get into the last piece of hidden knowledge that I've discovered over my many hours of trading, there's actually a bonus hidden knowledge that I wanted to share with you guys today, and this comes down to something technical. So let's hop into the charts, and I'm going to show you something really cool that I've been using over the past, couple thousand hours of trading that has really helped me, that a lot of people I don't think really know about. So let's get right into that. So the first thing I'm going to start by saying is don't use the support and resistance zones that you learned about as a beginner or intermediate. It's actually a way better way to use support and resistance, more accurate, and I'm going to show you here on the charts in a second. But first, using regular support and resistance zones can be a little difficult because they don't always match up to exactly the best support and resistance. So I'm going to show you a better way. So just as an example, we can go to Euro USD here. We're going to replay back to here. A really good way to mark out support and resistance zones is by using volume profile. So when you add a volume profile, this is going to show you where a lot of that volume stacks up. And what we can do, something really simple and effective here, is mark the highs of all these major groups of volume. So we take this group here, we mark the high, take this group down here, mark that high, and take even just something as small as this one little stick that sticks out right there. We're gonna mark that high. We're gonna mark this high here, and the last high we'll mark is this one here. We'll just go in between these two. Now what we can do is we can uncheck replay mode here, and let's just take a look at exactly how price interacted with each and every one of these zones. So starting with the top here, as you can see, price comes down, taps into the zone, comes down, taps into it again, falls through. Kind of, this zone isn't as strong here as you can tell, but later comes back and taps into it just to show how strong this is. Here it comes out, here it comes in. Now let's see, where did price fall to when it had this major spike? It fell through this zone, tapped, as you can see here, it tapped in here pretty strong, showing that this was a very good area for support. Once again, dropped even lower and tapped into this. And notice how price couldn't even close below this support and the resistance area. It's kind of interesting if you pay attention to it. Once again, we have some interaction here, some interaction on this line. This one not as strong, but as you can see here, it kind of rejects off that, rejects off the bottom here, comes up, rejects off here. Notice how it perfectly settles on this support, taps up in this resistance, comes down, settles in the support again. And this is absurd because if you think about how far back we originally marked these volume profile highs, this is quite a bit of time later and it's still respecting these zones. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, we could even move forward. Obviously with time, it starts to get less accurate, but even moving forward, it still has a little bit respect for these zones later on, coming and tapping into here once again, coming up and settling on this support here. Now I'm going to show you, we can jump to Euro GBP, do the same thing. Let's just go ahead and jump back here. You can mark just a simple couple highs here. We'll mark this one, we'll mark this one, and why not, let's mark that one. Just a simple 3 highs here. Let's go back and see how price interacted with these. So as you can see, price came, tapped into it, tapped here, settled there, came up, tapped into here, settled here. There was so much interaction and these are way more accurate. Now, obviously you can't just trade off of these alone, but these are going to be way more accurate than the typical support and resistance lines that you normally place. Even later on, quite some time later, especially because we're on the 1 minute, almost a day later, still having some sort of respect for these support and resistance zones. I mean, even later here, tapping into this zone very nicely here. So if you want to improve something as small as your support and resistance accuracy, go ahead and try this. Now, if you want this volume profile, just look up volume profile / fixed range. For my inputs, you can see it here, style, visibility. The major thing you have to worry about is number of bars. I like to set this to 500, so it gets me a nice big range of the past 500 bars and shows me where all the major volume is on a vertical level rather than a horizontal level. It's going to help quite a bit. Okay, so lastly, the last piece of hidden knowledge that I have for you guys today is very simple, but something that takes a long time to learn and to really start applying. And this is because in the beginning, it's kind of exciting trading. And as it starts to get less and less exciting, more repetitive, this is where you really start to tune into this hidden piece of knowledge. And that's really that less is more, and less is more in every single aspect of trading, whether it be less trading, less indicators, less profit goals, less risk to reward, less charting, less time on the charts. There's many things that you start to have less and less of as you get better at trading. It actually impacts your trading in a beneficial way. The more you're going to be on the charts, the more you're going to get wrapped up in all sorts of trades that you don't want to be in. And that's especially where that patience that I was talking about comes into play as well. So less trading is going to help significantly with that patience factor as well. And the tough part about really learning and being able to understand this is that this doesn't really come until trading becomes repetitive, and that won't really come till later, because obviously in the beginning you're going to be very excited, wanting to hop around all over the charts, everywhere, every trade. So you won't really understand that till later, but the quicker you can get there, the better. All right, that's all we have for today. Hopefully it gave you some knowledge on some of the things I've learned over my many hours of Forex. So hopefully you enjoy the video.